Virtual Camp 2020, and we're going to have our career interview. Tonight, we are interviewing Barrett Koennecke.
Koennecke, yes.
Very good. And he's going to tell us about his career in the wildlife field. And so, begin, Barrett, if you would, by telling us telling us what your full-time occupation is.
Okay, thank you, Christy. I am a Texas Parks and Wildlife biologist. I work for Texas Parks and Wildlife there in between Abilene and Lubbock in the Snyder area, and I cover about 6 counties there.
Okay. And do you have any kind of a side business?
No side business
Okay.
there.
Just your Parks and Wildlife.
Correct, yes.
That keeps you busy.
Very, very busy, yes.
So, how does this Parks and Wildlife line up with your interest and your passions?
Well, I grew up out in the rural area. I've always been very interested in wildlife, hunting, fishing, and this was just kind of an easy transition. I still get to do a lot of those things, and I get to be out in the field and working with people, and it coincided very well with how I grew up and what I want to do and what I really appreciate doing.
So you say you're out in the field. Do you get to be outside a lot?
Quite a bit. Of course, we always have our paperwork that we have to do in the office, but anytime I get a chance, we try to get out. We do a vast number of surveys for the state. All of the game animals that you'll see on your hunting license, or even some things that aren't game animals, we'll get out and we survey those, such as dove, deer, quail. We'll get out different months of the year. We'll go and survey them. It may be a driving survey, where we're just driving down the road, looking out the window, counting animals, or it could be a point survey. We'll stop, we'll get out, look and listen for a couple minutes, and take those notes.
So the surveying, that's exciting. What's a typical day like for you?
That's a tough question. Of course, the right answer is there is no typical day, no. But let's just talk about surveys. I kind of alluded to that, but we do a different survey almost every month of the year. So let's just say January, we're counting mule deer out of a helicopter. In February, January and February, we're usually doing a lot of our research projects there. Translocating pronghorn, maybe we're doing some more stuff with mule deer. March, we change it up a little bit. We do some prairie chicken counts in different areas way up north in the Panhandle. You get on over to May, and we start with our doves, counting doves and trapping doves and banding doves. We count pronghorn in June. We do some more dove work in July. August, we're doing a little bit of quail work. September and October, we'll start working with more private landowners, doing more deer-related stuff. Some of our deer, whitetail deer spotlight count stuff. We count pheasants in October. We occasionally will count some big winter crane stuff, sandhill cranes, and then we're back to January again. So, like I said, it keeps us pretty busy. So.
A lot of variety.
Quite a bit, yes.
So how did you get to this position in your career-wise? Where did you start here with Texas Parks and Wildlife?
No, I went to Angelo State University. I got my bachelor's degree there. Graduated in 2008 and landed the job and started working for Dr. Dale Rollins at the Rolling Plains Quail Research Ranch. And I worked out there for several years, and then just so happened my luck of the draw, a biologist position came open in the same county where I was at. So I put in for that and got lucky and got the job, and that's where I've been now for a little over 6 years now.
So what about the secrets to your success and being able to get where you are? You've advanced and got
Sure.
some good experience. What's your
Secrets for success, always keep your options open. Don't ever burn any bridges per se. Keep in contact with everybody that either maybe they've had a big influence on you or could have an influence. you know, it seems like the wildlife field is relatively small, you know, and so the longer that you're in this field, you start seeing the same faces over and over, and you start recognizing people from all over the state, you know, and so it's always a good thing to kind of know who they are and let them know who you are as well. Volunteering with folks as the opportunity arises is always a good thing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Alright. And now, if you could go back to when you were in high school, and you could give yourself a piece of advice, because we've got high schoolers that we're wanting to have at camp this week that we're hoping are watching our video. What would you tell yourself, kind of based on what you know now about your career?
Well, from what I've seen as I've started to advance in my career a little bit, it seems like there's a lot of people interested in the wildlife field. So, you know, something that would help greatly is if you're as a high schooler, or maybe you're just graduated high school, anything you can do as far as volunteering, you know, getting to know people, you know, volunteering for research projects. I know several of the universities, A&M Kingsville, Texas Tech, several of them are always doing some kind of research project, whether that's coloring some animals, or maybe they're tracking bats, or doing something with carnivores. There's a variety of stuff out there. Anytime they get a chance to volunteer and get their hands on some of this, on some of the animals, and get a little bit of that experience, is always going to get them a little bit of a leg up on life. So, yeah.
Good. Well, thank you, Barrett, for sharing that with us. I know here at North Texas Buckskin Brigade, we try to encourage kids to get out and meet with the professionals, and that's one thing that they can work toward after they come to camp.
We have a question from the audience.
All right.
What is a piece of advice you would tell someone who is looking to get into a career just like yours?
A piece of advice, well, what kind of, I've already alluded to that a little bit. You know, for my job specifically, if you're wanting to look at trying to get a job with the state, some of the requirements are, at a minimum, you have to have a bachelor's degree plus a few years of related experience, and that's what I have. I got my related experience working for quail. Otherwise, you need a minimum of a master's degree, and again, what I alluded to earlier, since there's so many people going into the wildlife field, and from what I've seen, I almost feel at this point you almost have to have your master's in order to improve your odds of getting landing a job in this career. But you know, again, it's doing your due diligence. You know, contacting some of the universities, the professors that are working on stuff. If you're interested in something specific, and just take mule deer for example, you're going to want to reach out to some of these specific colleges and try to get to know those guys, you know, and that's going to help you as you go into the field, go into college, with trying to land a research project there. So hopefully that helps.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you very much for being with us tonight.